Here we go. Good morning, Keller Williams, Milwaukee. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee on November 12th. So I got to be honest with you, and I don't do this for self-promotion, but I'll fill you in on a little bit of rule we have. So on the leadership team, I require everybody to take off on their birthday. Today's my birthday. But knowing that we didn't have a team meeting last week, I said, hey, I'll jump in and do the team meeting. And then in full transparency, knowing today was my birthday, today's going to be a little light, pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to lunch with my wife. So just to put it out there, like, don't expect any of this like transformational big Tuesday team meeting. Having said that, though, one of the things that I do owe you, which I will do next week because it's been a few weeks, is I will do a deep dive on the state of the industry and the state of the market. I'll give you a perspective as to what I'm seeing in southeastern Wisconsin to help you kind of see where the plane is landing to end the year, but also where we think it's going to start taking off in 2024 or 2025. Sorry. I say that because, look, here's what happens during election cycles within our industry. Things start to pause as people get conservative as they think about the outcomes of elections. And so now that there's been a decision as to where and what's happening, you will start to see things open up again as we head into 2025. And I'll dive into a lot more of that data for you next week. Cool. And I'll give you a little bit of a grocery store market of the moment script around people are like, what do I do? What do I say? So I'll try and give that to you the best that I know or the best that I can going into it. On that topic, I just wanted to touch on two things for you. One, from a mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. Many of you know me well enough to know that I don't really touch politics almost ever. I find the topic to be incredibly, somewhat defeating at times and incredibly divisive. And I recognize that there's people in our world that are super happy with how things played out. And I know there are people that are really hurting with how things played out. And my challenge to the group is like, wrap your arms around someone who you feel is hurting, because there's a lot of people who are experiencing different things with various outcomes. And check on your neighbors, check on your community, and choose love and mutual respect. It goes so much further when you can help uplift someone, because you don't know what people are going through or how they respond to various things. And I would just challenge the group in that way as, leaders within our industry, leaders within our communities, leaders with our families, leaders with our spouses and partners. Like, we need more continuity and bringing people together. We need less hate and divisiveness. So I just would challenge the group in that way as we think about the outcomes, and know, like, I totally recognize as a leader, like, there are many people that are hurting because of how it may impact them. And I want you to know that as a leadership team, we're here to love you, support you, and respect you. So also, I would be remiss, as many of you also know about me, I'm incredibly proud and prideful of veterans and those that serve our military. My grandfather served, my father served, my brother-in-law served, my sister-in-law served. I have a deep, fond respect for those that have chosen to serve our country. And yesterday being Veterans Day, I just wanted to say thank you. I know we have quite a few veterans within our KW community, and I saw many of you who did really some incredible things around thanking the veterans. Less than 1% of our population chooses an act or a life of service. And so I just wanted to make sure that, one, we thank those that are within our communities that are veterans, and thanks for those that recognize them, because Veterans Day is an important day that should be celebrated by all. Cool. All right. Getting into it, a handful of people to celebrate who capped in the month of October. So first up, one of the smartest minds I know, really, really incredible, has built an incredible business and now is leading through others in how to scale. Congrats to Marcus Auerbach on capping in the month of December. All right. Next up, an incredible agent over in the Madison area is building his team brick by brick. Also, an incredibly giving person is Willie. I saw him on a Madison game day, serving others, doing a community service project. on Regent Street. I got to give a shout out to Josh Holt for capping in the month of October. All right, next up, this person's having their best year ever, despite an industry that's having one of its worst on a macro scale since 2008, 9, and 10. It's proof that when you put in, you can get out what you desire to. Congrats to Gene Jaskowski for capping in the month of October. Next up, over in Tosa, I got to give a shout out to this incredible person. I've shared a little bit around Carla Florence's personal struggles that she's been going through in the past year, and this person has been at her side, really, really helping her professionally through her business. Amy Merrick, thank you for all you did for Carla this year, and congrats on capping in the month of October. Next one, I won't say too much because she'll get me choked up. I love her. The standard is the standard. She's my wife. So congrats, Megs, on capping in the month of October. God, I don't know why I do that so much. All right, Katie, moving on. Moving on, Katie Thomas, an OG out in Heartland, an incredibly giving person in our Lake Country community, has been with us since day one on Pauling Road when there was like 4 of us trying to figure out how do we make this KW thing work in the Lake Country office. Katie, congrats on capping in the month of October. Lastly, someone who has always been giving back through FTC on the first Fridays of every month, is on an incredible team, building a great business, really in a friend of mine outside of work, works with a friend of mine, kind of a long story. Vershay Ward, congrats on capping in the month of October. All right, so knowing that I didn't have a lot of content material because I had my head in a lot of spaces and I was trying to figure out how am I going to, lead by example, here's the one seed I would want to plant with you today, okay? We are now sitting here on November 12th, okay? And here's what happens. Winter is coming. And I've challenged the group a lot in August and September to say, I'm going to will you into productivity in the winter because it builds momentum for the spring. Straight up facts. And way too much of this industry, November hits, Thanksgiving hits, they coast from Thanksgiving through Christmas. And then they wake up on January and they say, oh shit, I have to do this again. Okay. And many, many people miss the opportunity where momentum starts and how momentum is built. Momentum starts in November and is built in December. It carries over in January and propels you in February. Okay. We've talked about this a lot. It's the entire intentional purpose around why we do Bold in the fall with 140 of you in the Bold room. It is all around helping you build momentum because momentum carries you forward. I would also say negative momentum can carry you back just as fast. Okay. Momentum is a very finicky thing within this business. And right now, sitting here in November, you have to understand winter is coming. Now is not the time of rest. Okay. And I'm going to remind the group when you look at annual home sales, and I shared this with the group a lot in September, when you look at it from the peak, we're down about 30%. Okay. And we're on pace, basically, if you look at it, 4.1 and 4.2 million home sales, we're basically on pace with where we were in 08, 09, 10. And many of us hear about this all the time, right? Like the industry is in a tough spot. The beautiful thing is many of you have chosen to survive and advance, okay? Because you're not in it for a great year, you're in it to build a great career. And so my question is history repeating ourselves as we head into 2025? What does 2025 look like? Okay. My really simple prediction is I think the tide will continue to rise, but the tide will rise very, very slowly. So for those of you that have had a lot of success, the question is how do you keep the momentum going so that you can continue to put gas in a fast car? For those of you that have had negative momentum, it's what is it that you need to, who do you need to become or what do you need to change in order to take advantage of the market of the moment? Because there's still going to be around 40,000 transactions in southeastern Wisconsin. In order for you to hit your goals, you're just trying to do whatever it is that number is that you desire in 2025. At the peak of the market, the top 1% are doing less than 1% of the overall market. Okay. So my point to it is there's a ton of business to be had, and we have to be real about where we are and where the market's heading. Because when you look at it on a sides per agent, we've talked about the historical average is 10 units per agent. And for 2023, the average was 5.3. And in 2024, it's looking to be about 5.6. That's down about 45%, give or take, in terms of what the historical average is on closings or sides per agent. Again, momentum is positively can be powerful, and negative momentum can be just as much of a spiral. So my challenge to you right now, sitting here on November 12th, is this. We have exited the period of fall cleanup, okay? Fall cleanup is the period of time in which that you manage your database and you manage your leads and your contacts effectively because you're setting yourself up for the first quarter. This is where your positive momentum starts to build. In November through February, we hit the period of winter renewal. This is where separation is in the preparation. Not, I get to take off for 6 weeks while we celebrate Thanksgiving, go to holiday parties, and then figure out what the hell you're going to do starting January 1. That mindset has to change, and it has to change because it's exhausting. That's why I think there's so much attrition in this business, is people don't know how to play the infinite game or have an evergreen mindset, and which is why I challenge you that you're in it for not in it for a great year, you're in it to build a great career. And so what happens is the separation and the preparation is where top agents shine. Why? Because they utilize this 3-month period or 4-month period of around how they bring people together to create connection to their brand and reputation. Here's the truth. November through February is the slowest 4 months on the calendar in residential transactions. So instead of saying, well, I don't have as much activity going on from a transactional standpoint, you should be amplifying the intensity and frequency of your brand connection and reputation in order to build your momentum, because we know that 65% of the business happens during the spring and summer explosion. The challenge is if you miss your first quarter, you can't hit your annual goals. Okay. So my challenge to the group is we're sitting here in November. What is it that you can do to bring people together to create a connection to your brand and reputation, even though transactionally the business may be rather quiet? Make sense? Sweet. So with that, and we'll go over more of these numbers next week. No need. Here's my challenge to the group. Life is about choices. Agent productivity is the direct reflection of the choices you make. How you spend your time or how you invest your resources in November, December, January, and February will help you build your momentum into 2025. And you don't want to start 2025 with no momentum. So build a connection and curate your brand and reputation effectively during the next 2 months, and then put the gear into hyperdrive heading into 2025, because positive momentum is incredibly powerful to stop. Cool? All right. With that, a few office operations updates for the group. Oh, no, I totally lied. I meant to say we have October awards. So as we talk about momentum and what momentum means, it's always great to celebrate people because it gives you inspiration as to who's doing what and how you desire to do your business. And it also gives you who do you aspire to be, right? And I use this as an opportunity for you guys to seek an opportunity to build your community around who's having successful years and what you can learn from what they're doing and how do you make it your own. So $1 Million Month Club in the month of October, historically, we would have about 1 column of agents in the $1 Million Month Club in the month of October. And the fact that there's like roughly 35 to 40 names on this list in the month of October is a testament to the momentum you've built and what you continue to do in the activities and choices you make in order to build your business. Next up, Home Run Club. Very similarly, this is a time of year where we start to see this being a 1-column club, not a 2-column club. 1 listing taken, 1 contract written, 1 contract closed. This is the list you desire to be a part of. Why? Because it means you got paid, and it means you have an insurance policy where you will continue to get paid because you are reaping the rewards of your activities. Congrats to those that hit a Home Run Club in the month of October. Next up, GCI, Agents on a Team, to celebrate those that are on teams. Janine Warner, Martha Ola, Steph Miller, Steph Minnick, Ginger Lazovic, Kathy Shaw, Will Stale, Ellen Pertel, Casey Lopez, Maggie Drain, Megan Stale, Kathleen Rosenheimer, Nick Wessel, Katie Hart Phillip, and Molly Triggs, rounding out top GCI for agents on teams. Now, volume percentage increase year to date for those that have had the highest percentage increase. If you want to understand what it is that these people are doing, or how do you take market share in a market that doesn't have a lot of momentum, these are the people I would lean on and learn from as to what it is that they're doing, because they're doing something to grow their business. Shout out to Melina Cortez, Anitra Tatum, Teresa Brown, Don Belanja, Amber Whitley, Devin White, Jackie Reiner-Schnapp, Craig Harden, Elizabeth Howe, Cam Douglas, Bethany Clark, Ross Treffert, Deborah Croft, Anne and Katie Sayers. Congrats on highest percentage increase so far year to date. October individual volume, Ethan Masson leading the way, despite the fact that he has two twins that are like less than, I don't know, a couple months old. Ethan, congrats on in a killer month of October. You almost doubled that of number 2. Jean, congrats. Bridget Ty, Jordan Tybinko, John Molitor, Jan, Sarah, Coco, Carla, Abby, Tracy, Jackie Reinish, Amy, Annie Stabler, Nada, Kristen Stahulik, Kevin Matson, Damara, Dan Wild, Robin McCormick, and Susan Drone, rounding out top individual agents for the month of October. Next up, individual agents year to date. Shout out to Molitor for 108 units so far year to date. Lori Sroke, Abby Wall, Ethan Masson, Joey Carini, Sarah Oberbrunner, Jean, Bridget Ty, Nick Fetting, Elena, Damara, Kristen Stahulik, Elise Bolt, Jessica, Lindsay, Dan, Kevin, Sarah Reardon, Mara, and Carla. All right, year-to-date individual volume, Jean leading the way. Again, having her best year ever at 23 million so far in October. John Molitor, Bridget Ty, Becky Thomas, Ethan Masson, Elena Zeman, Abby Wall, Carla Florence, Sarah Oberbrunner, Kristen Stahulik, Joey Carini, Robin McCormick, Marybeth Milkey, Jessica Hanawi, Elise Bolt, Dan Wild, Damara Bolton, Kevin Matson, Jordan Tybinko, Mara Krieger, rounding out individual agents year-to-date through October. Next up, October team volume, FRG leading the way, Gallagher Lake Country, JSG, Root River, Holt Real Estate Team, Stale, Rotino, On Point, PPG, Fair, Double Bolt, Team Trimble, Desties, House to Home, Fernwood, Levine, Duval, Loznicki, Nancy Brennan, and Sayers team for team volume for the month of October. October team units year to date, JSG at 275, Root River at 228, FRG at 198, House to Home, Stale, On Point, Levine, PPG, A-Key Home, Duval, Rotino, Enlighten, Desties, Fair Hinton, Fernwood, Holt, the Gossman Group, Miller Marriott, Wessels, and Kindred, rounding it out for year-to-date team units. And finally, year-to-date team volume, JSG, FRG, SRG, House to Home, On Point, Root River, Gallagher, PPG, Team Trimble, Desties, Duval, Rotino, Kuiper, Double Bolt, A-Key Home, Fair Hinton, Levine, Miller Marriott, the whole team, Kindred, and Gossman Group, rounding out team volume year-to-date through October. Again, I challenge you. The reason why we do the awards is to give you inspiration and aspiration. There are things that people are doing that you can learn from, and these lists are great ways for you to look to who are you looking to, or who are you inspired by, or who do you aspire to be. Congrats on everyone for the incredible momentum you've built so far through the month of October. All right, now transitioning over. 2 weeks ago at our last team meeting, I challenged the group to whom much is given, much is expected. We're on pace to break 60 million in GCI paid out to our agents in 2024. And we launched a campaign with the United Way. The United Way is an incredible organization that helps partner with, I believe, over 200 nonprofits in southeastern Wisconsin. And they serve almost every single person in our KW community. The United Way serves an organization that would be near and dear to your heart. Every major corporation in southeastern Wisconsin participates in the United Way campaign. And several years ago, when I realized that we were supporting a lot of things at a certain scale, but not one big thing at a broader scale, and having served on the United Way campaign at my old professional life at Molson Coors, I thought it was important for us to participate and support and to give where we live. And so with that, I asked my friend Amy Linder, who's the CEO of the United Way, just to give us a quick brief update into what this is.
Hello, I'm Amy Lindner, the President and CEO of United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County. I'm so happy to be with you as together we celebrate your 2024 United Way Workplace Campaign. I want to start off with a thank you to all of you at Keller Williams. We so appreciate your support. Over the past 2 years, Keller Williams has donated nearly $33,000 to our United Way. Your inspiring goal of $25,000 for the 2024 campaign will help so many people in need in our community. Thank you to your United Way committee members for planning and organizing your campaign this year. I've heard there's some exciting prizes being awarded this year. I know that Keller Williams always has a strong commitment to give back to our community. You demonstrate this every day, not only by your words, but with your actions. We are so grateful for you.
So I share that with you because here a little bit of an update. Our goal this year is 25,000. Last year we did 20,000. So far through this morning, we're at $19,620, and the campaign ends this week, Friday. We also had a little bit of a roster engagement rank because we're not looking to draw. What we're trying to do is touch as many of our associates into understanding the act of giving. And so what we created a little thing where I threw out, I will pay for a food truck to show up at one of the locations to those that have the highest percentage of associates who participate in the United Way campaign. And so far, North Shore is in first place with 23% associate engagement, innovation in second at 19%. And again, my challenge in the way what I looked at this was all around, even if it's $5, like you don't understand like the act of giving and the impact it can have within our communities of all where we all live, work, and play. And as a part of that as well, I love incentives. For those of you who've seen me at different community functions, I'm a sucker for silent auctions because I know I'm always going to participate in some way to give back. And so this year I put together a little bit of a raffle. For those that gave $1,000, I'm giving away 2 different games, Bucks courtside tickets, along with coaching sessions with Jason Abrams. At $500, we're giving away a night at the Pfister during the holiday party, various rounds of golf, mega camp or family reunion ticket, along with a airline ticket to family reunion. And then at the $100 level, you can see a variety of ways in which that we have provided different raffle items to try and create a little bit of excitement and incentive around creating donations at various different levels. And for those that have participated in the United Way campaign so far, I thank you. Last year, we had 50 associates who basically contributed all $20,000. This year, we're past 75 associates. And so again, it's all around driving awareness to the impact that the United Way has and how I really believe we have to teach people how to give. Because it's not something that is natural to most. This is the last week of the campaign. We hope to achieve our targets of 25,000 and appreciate for those that have participated already. Thank you for everybody who has been willing to participate in the United Way campaign. Lastly, top workplaces the survey is still going on for Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. We have about 36% associate engagement. We had historically had one of the highest level of engagements, and for the last 2 years, we were the #1 workplace in southeastern Wisconsin. For clarity purposes, we don't see the results. This is just a very good benchmark for us of how we benchmark versus our peers, and appreciate your guys' participation in the top workplaces. All right. With that, I'm flipping it over to Vranik. Vranik, what do these guys need to know all around the open house playbook?
All right. Good morning, everybody. So I've been hearing that a lot of, open houses are just kind of ramping up this time of year, and more agents are holding listings open. So I thought it was a really good opportunity to bring up the open house playbook again. And now Keller Williams has a ton of different playbooks, a lot of different topics, but these playbooks are really awesome resources for you guys. So, it's one of those most cost-effective lead generation opportunities is to hold an open house. And the playbook is really designed to provide you with the model on how to run the most effective open house, as well as walk you through the system step by step. You're going to learn how to maximize your time and exposure for the listing you're holding open. So these playbooks, again, are really going to walk you through step by step. First, how to determine which house to hold open. So is it a house in your neighborhood, or is it a home in the community that you serve, or an area that you're farming? What marketing materials to create? Is it a flyer? Is it a brochure? How to market the open house? Are you going door knocking? If so, how do you do that? What materials are you handing out? Scripts for what to say. Best practices on actually holding the house open. And then the follow-up, how are you following up with the people who are walking through the open house? So that playbook is going to walk through everything step by step by step and give you some examples and some ideas. So that QR code is going to take you directly to all of the KW playbooks. So not just the open house playbook, but how to hold a seminar or information on AI technology, how to use some of those tools, contacts, database. There's 14 different playbooks in here, you guys. So really, really great content and information. So check that out.
Guys, one of the things I'd challenge the group on is we are a company of systems and models. How do you model things so that they're repeatably consistent? That's the whole purpose of the playbook. Is some of you who've been in this industry for a while, you may have been just kind of winging it by a heart and a prayer, right? Around how you do your open houses. Are you systematically approaching and are you implementing a model as to how you approach certain things? And are you maximizing the return on your investment so that, like a phrase I use often is, are your listings having babies, right? That's a model. How do you model it so that your listings have 2 incremental pieces of business? Thanks, Linz, for bringing up the playbooks.
Yeah. And keeping with that same topic, there are tools in order to help you with holding this open house. And so I wanted to mention again, the digital open house sign-in sheet that it's available through your agent website through Command. And you can create this within seconds. And when I say seconds, I literally mean 2 seconds. So this is automatically built in within your agent website. So all you're going to do is find the listing that you're holding open on your agent website through Command. Type in at the end of the URL /open house, and boom, you have a digital open house sign-in sheet for that particular listing. It doesn't have to be your listing. Your websites are a full IDX search, so you can search for any listing on your branded website. So it's just an example of what you're going to see, how that digital open house sign-in is going to look. And then once someone fills that out, so if you have your laptop up or an iPad, the consumer is simply going to type in their information, hit enter, and then it's going to pull up a QR code so that if they're walking through the open house, they can scan that QR code and have all of the property photos and the property details on their phone as they're walking through the open house. So the next slide is going to show an example of what that's going to look like for the consumer after they filled it out. So really, really easy functionality built into your website through Command. So that's a great tool if you guys want to use something like a digital open house sign-in sheet. And the contacts are going to be automatically added to your database afterwards too.
You want to know the #1 mistake agents make in hosting open houses? They have a sign-in sheet and then they don't do anything with the sign-in sheet when they had potential clients that wrote their names and information down. Create a system around how you capture it. Lindsay's showing you a very simplistic way so that you don't make the same mistake many agents do.
Yep. Switching gears a little bit, so we do have some new 12 Direct campaigns. 'Tis the season, you guys. So Christmas tree farms are opening in the next, I think, week or 2. So great content to post on social media. Email this out or send out postcards if you're farming an area. Again, think of your 36 touch. These are all opportunities to build up that 36 touch and hit your database 36 times a year. Holiday lights, same thing, great November and December content. You know, people are getting out with their families, cutting down Christmas trees, and we have a lot of really great holiday light displays throughout the Milwaukee area. And people want to know that, so share that with them. Be the first to share that. That QR code is going to take you to all of that content. And then I just want to say a quick thank you to anyone who participated in Headshot Day last week, Tuesday. We had a great turnout. I think we are going to get some awesome photos back for you guys who participated. And I just want to say a special thank you to Tom Barrett, who took some awesome photos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stonehouse Collective was a great, beautiful space for us to utilize. And then Cheyenne with Coakley Brothers, she sponsored the event. So thank you to those individuals, and the Stonehouse Collective, and that group was great. So thank you again. And then finally, we do have some more trainings coming up for tech and marketing. So how to create a monthly newsletter is this Thursday. And then we're back at it with compliance and command next week, Thursday. Steph and I will be on that. And check it out. Always on Zoom and recorded, uploaded to our YouTube channel. So don't forget to always check out our YouTube channel for those recordings. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Linz. All right. With that, we have the lieutenant who's coming on. Steph, what do these guys need to be paying attention to as it relates to their compliance activities right now?
Good morning, guys. It's a little bit of a slow news week, so I'm going to sound a little bit like a broken record today, which is just fine, but we're a little bit more than a month away from when our CE needs to be complete and our license renewal needs to be complete and when our GMAR dues need to be paid. So action items right now for the license renewal: taking the continuing education courses, renewing the license with the DSPS, and paying your GMAR dues. So I always like to highlight best way to take the continuing education courses. So next slide, Charlie. There, so you're just going to do it right through the WRA. You're going to go to the education tab. So next slide, Charlie. It's slow. Okay, so you're gonna go across the top, find that education tab. You're gonna scroll down to continuing ed, and then you are going to hit the real estate CE, and then that will take you to a menu of options in which you can take the courses. I recommend doing the on-demand version. You can just take the classes right online there through watching a series of videos. It won't take that long. And I think that's how the majority of you guys are taking it. So, okay, once you complete that, you do not need to send me the certificates once you complete education. All I need to see is that you have renewed with the DSPS. Online license renewal is open. You're going to see the email that was sent to you on October 25th. So please do a Google email search for that email. You're going to type in the credential renewal notice, and then you're going to get explicit, very detailed instructions on how to renew. It is a little bit different this year. Most of you have not had any troubles with renewing it. A few of you have, if so, to see me. But again, those detailed instructions should get you right through it. Again, once you have renewed, then you're going to send me a copy of your confirmation email once complete. And that looks like on the next slide.
Shout out to Katie Thomas for being first in line.
Yeah. Not only did she cap, but she was on top of her online renewal. So thank you, Katie. But yeah, this is what it looks like. She shot me a copy of this, and then we're just tracking it and marking it down. Then we'll start getting on your case probably, I don't know, December 4th, maybe 10 days before. We'll kind of see how that goes. But yes, that's all you need to do. I don't need to see, again, those certificates. Sorry, I'm hammering this home. All right, next slide.
We're hammering. I'll tell you why we're hammering it home, because people who are very successful in this business will call us in January and say, what happened to my MLS access? I don't understand. And then we're like, oh, just do your stuff, get it done. So we sound like a broken record because we have to make people aware.
Okay, GMAR dues. Again, you're going to look for that September 13th email. You are going to pay with your personalized online link that Michelle from the GMAR has provided to you. They are not sending these emails out regularly. You have to go back to that September 13th email. It will be there. So just again, do another email search and just type in 2025 GMAR dues and it should pop right up, okay? And that will be your last step in this process. Again, all needs to be complete by December 14th. That's not far from now. So use this time while it's quiet to get that stuff done, okay? And then just a few more kind of, again, this is all things we've gone over, obviously since mid-August, but we did a repeat yesterday of our training on the NAR settlement changes. And so I just wanted to go over this again. Mostly I wanted just to point out, again, as buyer's agents, when we are about to write on a listing, asking the listing agent for their preference. And then also being patient out in the field when we might be challenged by how we're doing business. And we need to have an understanding that there's more than one way to skin a cat with this on whether and how we are addressing the commission. So again, it can be done through that compensation agreement, or it can be done through the offer to purchase. We just want to ask the listing agent what their preference is. And then on the flip side, once you receive that information, make sure you're adhering to it. I've heard yesterday from one of our own listing agents who sent out a compensation agreement to all 6 parties who have expressed interest in writing an offer. All 6 parties ended up putting that commission into the offer to purchase. And it was really, really frustrating. So, you know, we're going to take this information, but then also pay attention to it and comply with what their wishes are. Okay. Next slide. And then the offer of compensation versus the concession disclosure. So this is actually something I needed to be reminded of. And we've got this question a few times, but as it relates to offers of compensation, just as a reminder, you know, when a seller authorizes and approves this, we can be sure that the seller wants to disclose that. They want us as the listing firm, as the listing agent, to disclose what that offer of compensation is. I've had some agents ask me, you know, can we keep this close to our chest in the event that a buyer would write lower than what the seller is willing to give? Not as it relates to offers of compensation. That seller is stating right from the get-go, I am willing to pay this to the buyer's firm, and we should absolutely be disclosing that upfront. Counter to that, though, is the amount of concessions that a seller is willing to pay. So if the seller has opted to offer concessions versus compensation, then that might be a case where you are just keeping that close to see how the buyer reacts and how the buyer responds to that in their offer to purchase. So you would not necessarily be disclosing what that seller is willing to offer in terms of concessions, okay? So this is directly from the WRA. They had a question about that on the legal hotline recently, and I wanted to bring it forward to you guys. All right, last up, all required when working with customers. So it's not often, you know, when we're working with buyers, 9 times out of 10, we're working in a buyer agency capacity. But if you are working with a buyer as a customer, so you're writing that offer as agent of the seller, we are still required to provide that WRA disclosure to customers. They still need to sign our KW disclosure, or they still need to sign our affiliated business disclosures. And then depending on the transaction, we may need to have the customer sign a home warranty waiver as well. But those top 3 are still a must for all of our customers. And remember, a FSBO seller is also a customer in the transaction. So if you are working with a FSBO, you need to provide these documents to them as well. All right. Oh, no, I got one more thing. Nope, I got one more thing. So sorry. Maria Athens, Joan connected with Maria Athens, who is an appraiser. She is going to be with us next week, Monday at 12 p.m. on our contract training. Please, this is for seasoned agents too. Please join us, bring your questions. The last time we had an appraiser visit us on contract training, it was an incredible, incredible discussion and really helpful to a lot of agents. So you'll find the Zoom link at kwrealtymke.com. We'll also send out the Zoom link to everybody next week, Monday morning, okay? Now I'm done. We might be frozen.
Charlie, you're frozen, so I'm taking over. I was up next anyway with training and education, and I'm sharing the slides. So Charlie made a huge mistake this morning in giving me the mic because I was going to celebrate you anyway. Happy birthday, Charlie.
Yeah. All right. MoveOn.com.
Birthday
All
to you. Happy birthday
right.
to you.
Move.
Happy birthday, dear Charlie. Happy birthday to you. It's the perfect time for an internet outage in Wauwatosa. Happy birthday, Charlie. We love you. We're so grateful to have you. Thank you for spending your morning with us and enjoy your afternoon with your beautiful capping wife. She must be picking up the tab knowing that she just capped. Few other quick things to highlight for training and education. This Friday, we have our Opportunity Knox event here in the North Shore from 10 to noon. Great opportunity to almost do some speed dating and meet a lot of teams that are looking to hire and look for talent, as well as talk to a member of leadership if you've ever been interested in some leadership team opportunities. 10 to noon. Thursday, November 14th, we had Scott and Steph on here a few weeks ago talking about the amazing opportunity to do a budget mastermind via Zoom. So join them Thursday, November 14th at 1 o'clock to gain insights and strategies all around your finances and maximizing your profitability, how to run your business like a business. So really excited to have both those experts on pouring into us. We also have Jenny Klug with America's Preferred Home Warranty joining us on November 18th, a Monday at 11 o'clock here in the North Shore training room. So join us for that. Oh, it's a Zoom meeting. My apologies. Then after team meeting next week, we have the land team here talking about opportunities and working with vacant land. So stay after team meeting next week, Tuesday, November 19th, to learn more about vacant land with the Outdoor Dreams team. And then last but certainly not least, our Keller Williams holiday party. We have hundreds of you who've already RSVP'd. It's going to be an amazing night. There is a room block reserved at the Pfister Hotel to make a whole night of it, Thursday, December 5th at 6 o'clock.
An effective risk mitigation strategy. Guys, here's what I tell you. 500 plus have already registered for the holiday party. To give you a little bit of a sneak peek, we have carving stations, we have casino tables, we'll have a killer DJ because I know that the dance floor starts to heat up. And this year, because the Packers are playing the Lions in a pivotal NFC Division North game, we have a side conference room where we will be giving you the Camp Bar Packer experience. If you don't know what that is, it's really fun. When they score, they play the music. When you don't have to listen to commercials, like, we're going to make it a really fun experience. So stay tuned for Thursday, December 5th. And for those of you that are traveling in, please use good judgment, risk mitigation, Uber, Lyft, stay at the Pfister, whatever you might need. And we look forward to providing an incredible experience. Lastly, Kati, that was unnecessary. I'm now sweating and I'm blush. But anyways, guys, it's November 12th. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee. Thanks for showing up, and stay tuned for the economic insights as to what we're seeing in the market next week. Cool. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for showing up.